I'll never forget the sound of my own screams as I watched my world crumble around me. The feeling of my heart shattering into a million pieces as I realized I'd been living a lie. It's a sound that still haunts me to this day, a constant reminder of the betrayal that changed my life forever. But to understand how I got to that point, you have to go back to the beginning. My life was pretty routine. I'd wake up every morning at 6 a.m., get dressed, and head to the kitchen to start my day with a cup of coffee. My girlfriend, Rachel, would usually already be up and getting ready for work, and we'd chat about our plans for the day. I worked as a freelance writer, so my schedule was pretty flexible, but Rachel had a 9-to-5 job at a marketing firm. We'd been together for about 3 years, and everything seemed perfect. We'd go on dates, try new restaurants, and spend our weekends exploring the city. I thought we were happy, or at least I thought we were working towards happiness. We had our disagreements like any couple, but we always managed to work through them, or so I thought. I remember the days leading up to the incident. Everything seemed normal. Rachel was a bit stressed with work, but she always was when they were closing in on a big deadline. I tried to be supportive, listening to her vent about her coworkers and offering words of encouragement. I was so caught up in my own little bubble, I didn't even notice the warning signs. I was too busy working on my latest project, a novel I'd been writing for months. I was determined to get it published, and Rachel was always cheering me on, or so I thought. It was a typical Wednesday evening when everything changed. Rachel came home from work, looking a bit more stressed than usual. We ordered takeout and sat down to eat, and that's when she dropped the bombshell. "I need to talk to you about something," she said, her voice trembling. "I've been seeing someone else." My mind went blank. I couldn't process what I was hearing. "What are you talking about?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. "I'm sorry. I know this isn't easy to hear, but I've been feeling really unhappy in our relationship for a while now, and I met someone at work who makes me feel alive again." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. I couldn't breathe. "Who is it?" I managed to stammer out. "His name is Alex. He's a colleague of mine," she replied, her eyes avoiding mine. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. My whole world was crumbling around me, and all I could think was, how could she do this to me? As I delved deeper into the world of corporate finance, I began to notice a peculiar trend. It seemed that the company's upper management was embezzling funds, using a complex web of shell companies and offshore accounts to launder the money. But what caught my attention was a small loophole in the company's bylaws, a tiny clause that allowed for a shareholder to call for a special meeting to discuss any matter of importance. It was a long shot, but I knew it was the perfect opportunity to set my plan in motion. I spent the next few weeks gathering evidence, poring over financial records, and conducting discreet interviews with other employees. I discovered that the embezzlement scheme was far more extensive than I had initially thought, with millions of dollars being funneled out of the company and into the pockets of the corrupt executives. But I also found that the company's CEO, the same man who had ruined my life, was the mastermind behind it all. With my evidence in hand, I began to execute my plan. I started by quietly buying up shares of the company, using a series of shell companies and proxy accounts to conceal my identity. It was a slow and tedious process, but I knew it was essential to building a strong foundation for my revenge. As I accumulated more and more shares, I began to make my presence known, attending shareholder meetings and asking pointed questions about the company's financial dealings. The executives were caught off guard, unsure of who this mysterious new shareholder was or what their motivations were, but I just smiled and played dumb, all the while gathering more evidence and building my case. I knew that the key to my revenge was patience, to let the executives think they were safe, that they had gotten away with their scheme. But I was just getting started. I began to make alliances with other shareholders, whispering in their ears and planting seeds of doubt about the company's leadership. I fed them information, carefully curated, to make them question the executives' motives and competence. It was a slow burn, but I could see the doubt growing, the uncertainty spreading like a cancer through the company's ranks. As the months passed, the executives grew more and more paranoid, sensing that something was amiss but unable to put their finger on what it was. They tried to buy me off, to offer me a seat on the board or a lucrative consulting contract. But I just laughed, knowing that my goal was within reach. I was the ghost in the machine, the specter of revenge haunting their every move. Finally, the day arrived when I had accumulated enough shares to call for a special meeting. I sent out the notices, carefully worded to ensure that the executives knew I meant business. The meeting was set for a week's time, and I could hardly contain my excitement. This was it. The moment of truth, the culmination of all my planning and scheming. The executives were frantic, trying to rally support among the other shareholders, but I had done my work too well. The doubt and uncertainty I had sown had taken root, and many of the shareholders were now questioning the executives' motives. The stage was set for a showdown, a battle for control of the company. And I was ready, my evidence and my allies at the readies. As I walked into the meeting room, I could feel the weight of my revenge settling upon me. The executives looked up, their faces pale and nervous, and I just smiled. I knew that I had them right where I wanted them, and that soon, very soon, They would be the ones who were ruined them. The meeting began, and I stood up, my voice clear and confident, as I called for the removal of the corrupt executives and the installation of a new board of directors. The room erupted into chaos, but I just stood there, my eyes fixed on the CEO, as I said the words I had been waiting years to say. You're finished. Asterisk. The fallout. It's been 2 years since I exposed my former boss, Richard, for his deceitful and manipulative ways. The consequences of his actions were severe and far-reaching. He was fired from the company, and his reputation was left in tatters. The board of directors launched a full investigation, and it was discovered that he had been embezzling funds and cooking the books for years. The company was forced to pay back millions of dollars to its investors, and Richard was sued for every penny he had. He lost his mansion, his cars, and his luxurious lifestyle. He was left with nothing but the clothes on his back and a criminal record. But that wasn't the end of it. His wife, who had been just as complicit in his schemes, left him and took the kids with her. She filed for divorce and got a hefty settlement, leaving Richard with nothing but debts and regrets. As for me, I was hailed as a hero for my bravery and integrity. I was offered a promotion and a substantial raise, but I decided to leave the company and start my own business. I used the experience I gained to build a successful consulting firm, helping other companies to avoid the same pitfalls that I had faced. Today, I am proud to say that I am my own boss, and I have never been happier. I have a wonderful family, a beautiful home, and a sense of fulfillment that I never thought possible. I look back on those difficult days with a sense of satisfaction, knowing that I stood up for what was right, even when it was hard. I often think about Richard and how his greed and arrogance led to his downfall. It's a cautionary tale that I tell my clients and my children, reminding them that honesty and integrity are essential for success and happiness. I am grateful for the journey, difficult as it was, because it led me to where I am today. I am proud of myself for standing up for what was right, even when it was hard. TLDR.
Informacji wywiadowczych i ich wykorzystywanie w działaniach wojennych. Alianci dowiedzieli się, że posiadanie dobrych źródeł informacji może być kluczem do zwycięstwa. Gwiazdka wpłynęło na rozwój technologiczny Gwiazdka. Projekt V3 pokazał, jak schnell możliwy jest rozwój broni i technologii wojennych. To zainspirowało wiele krajów do inwestowania w badania i rozwój nowych technologii wojskowych, co miało ogromny wpływ na świat współczesny. W końcu, historia nauczyła nas, że wojna jest nie tylko kwestią siły militarnej, ale również intelektu, strategicznego myślenia i umiejętności adaptacji. Jak powiedział wielki strateg, wojna jest kontynuacją polityki innymi środkami. Zatem, pamiętajmy, że każde wydarzenie wojenne, jak odkrycie tajnej broni Hitlera, ma swoje dalekosiężne konsekwencje, które kształtują nie tylko przebieg wojny, ale także przyszłość świata. Prawdziwa siła nie leży w broni, lecz w umyśle, który ją użytkuje.